adventures. In this video, I'm going to do a new project each month. I'm going to look up queer releases coming out that month. So here are some I found in January. Sorry, I'm filming this in December. I was able to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14, and there's probably some I've missed. If I've missed any, please let me know. So I have, this is going up on the 5th, so there are a couple already out. Heartstopper Volume 4. Let's see. All of You, Every Single One. Fiona and Jane, and then the lovely Ivory Key. And I will be doing this in parts, so sorry, old phone. I'll be reading the description off the old phone. So I will be talking about the descriptions of each one, and then I'll take a break because I've attempted to film this, but I wanted to research more books, and I get really tired by filming this, so this will be in parts. Like, you'll see me talk about the book descriptions, and then you'll see what, as well as I could get the book covers to look with me doing this on my phone. But let me see. I'm going to read you what Heartstopper is because I'm not going to read the 4th volume. I don't want to spoil it. Charlie, a high-strung, openly gay overthinker, and Nick, a cheerful, soft-hearted rugby player, meet at a British all-boys grammar school. Friendship blooms quickly, but there be more? And it says that Charlie is on spring at year 10 at Town Grammar School for Boys. This past year hasn't been too great, but at least he's not being bullied anymore. Nick Nelson is in year 11 and on the school rugby team. He's heard a little bit about Charlie, the kid who was outed last year and bullied for a few months, but he never had the opportunity to talk to him. So they become friends, and I'm really excited for the 4th volume, and the cover is one of my favorites. I love the color. So I'm gonna get the next book description up. So you'll probably hear typing in most of this video. So it's all... So I got this. This All of You comes out on the 4th. It's All of You, Every Single One. My dyslexia doesn't want me to say that. So it's set in Vienna from 1910 to 1946. All of You, Every Single One is an atmospheric, original, and deeply moving novel about family, freedom, and how true love might surprise the odds, or survive impossible odds. Julia, I'm so not going to pronounce her last name, a woman unhappily married to a famous Swedish playwright, leaves her husband to begin a passionate affair with a female tailor named Eve. The pair run away together and settle in more liberal haven of Vienna, where they fall in love and navigate the challenges of their newfound independence. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to ruin it. So there has been a couple of reviews. There's been 2 3 stars and 1 4-star, and most of them got their early copy off of NetGalley, so it looks good. I'm really interested in it. Then we have, what was it? Heartstopper. Okay. Yep. So the next one is Fiona and Jane, which most of these covers are illustrated, and I love a good illustrated cover. So it says, I think that's reviews. So basically, best friends since 2nd grade, Fiona Lynn and Jane Shen explore the lonely freeways and seedy bars of Los Angeles. Together, their teenage years surviving unfulfilled romantic encounters and carrying with them the scars of their family's tumultuous past, Fiona was always destined to leave her effortlessly beauty burnished by the fierce by a fierce ambition, quality that Jane admires and feared in equal measure. When Fiona moves to New York and cares for a sick friend through a breakup with an opportunistic boyfriend, Jane remains in California and grieves her estranged father's sudden death. In the process of alienation and an overzealous girlfriend strained by distance and unattended betrayals, the women float in and out of each other's lives, their friendship a beacon of home and a reminder of all they lost. So I believe it's like short stories, and it looks really good. I do like, so maybe we'll read from both poems. The cover is really pretty, and it's probably not one I would go out of my way to get my hands on quite yet, but it does sound interesting. And then we have the Ivory Key, which I probably forgot to say that earlier. So the Ivory Key is a duology, so that's cool to know. So magic, a prized resource, is the only thing between peace and war. When magic runs out, 4 estranged royal siblings must find a new source before their country is swallowed by invading forces. This is the first in an Indian-inspired duology. Via is desperate to get out of her mother's shadow and establish her legacy as revered queen of Osaka, but with the country's only quarry running out of magic, a precious resource that has kept Ahsoka safe from conflict, she can barely protect her citizens from looming threat of war, and if her enemies discover this, they'll stop at nothing to seize the last bit of magic. So it looks really good, and there's about 2 5-star reviews on it, so I'm actually really intrigued by this. I'm wondering, will we get, with the rest of the siblings, will we get each character or something like that? It says Vera's only hope is to find a mystery object of legend, the Ivory Key, rumored to unlock a new source of magic, but in order to infiltrate enemy territory and retrieve it, she must reunite with her siblings, torn apart by the different paths their lives have taken. Each of them have something to gain from finding the Ivory Key, and even more if they fail. So it looks really interesting, and the cover is really cool. I do enjoy the cover. So yeah, because we read All of You, Fiona and Jane, and The Heartstoppers. So those are what I found for January 4th. So after this clip, you'll see the covers, and they're really, really good. Book illustrators so far with the covers that are coming out for queer books, or even this year that I've seen, look absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take a break and rest my voice, and you can see the covers, and then I will film. I believe there's only one coming out on Day 8th, so that won't be a problem, but I might have to look up it to see on Amazon, because on Goodreads the description isn't there. All right, I will see you in a little bit. So I found a description for the only release I could find for January 8th. It's a Betrayal of Storm. So it says perfect for fans of A Court of Thorns and Roses and From Blood and Ash, this new fantasy romance about a half-fade boy and his personal guard preventing a war between the realms. Well, I loved both of those books, so definitely up to wanting to get this release. Which would the realm of the Fae prepare for a war against the humans who hate, hunt, and kill them for coin, aided by the unclaimed destructive power of the murdered, forgotten Winter Court, they ready their numbers for complete domination of the human realm. All until Robin Vale reveals himself to be the last Icethorn heir, a hope for the humans he has grown up amongst, but to the detriment of many who see him dead before ruining their years of preparation. Robin finds allies during his discovery of a realm he has long since feared. Gideon, a Fae warrior who aids as a distraction during the long nights. Althea, or like Althea, a stern princess hell-bent on stopping the human hunters from killing her kind. And there's more, but I think that's all said. It looks really good, and the cover is one of my favorites of this video. I couldn't really show it well in the editing process, but it is a really beautiful cover, and I'm really excited for this one. This one is high on my list that I want to prioritize. I don't know when I will get to any of these books because my January TBR is already out, well, it'll be out when you see this, but I really am interested in finding this out. It looks good. There were a couple reviews on Goodreads when, even though it didn't have description, there was 3 5-stars already, so it looks like it'll be a great release. And I love the comparison to A Court of Thorn and Roses and From Blood and Ash. That means I'm very keen on getting my hands on it as soon as I can. All right, that is it for the only one on January 8th. I will take another short break and then tell you there's only 2 for January 10th, and then I will tell you about those when I come back. There are 2 releases on January 10th that I found, Blow Me Away and Icebreaker, and I really love the cover for Icebreaker, but the first one I have is the description for Blow Me Away. Things are about to get spicy. Showing up to a wedding where his ex is the best man, that's a hard pass, even for the brazen and confident Noah Harper. Thankfully, his best friend has a brilliant plan. Take her straight as an arrow brother Nick as his fake boyfriend instead. Nick is happy to pretend a free trip to Hawaii is hard to pass up, but apparently it will cost him exactly 1 internal crisis when sharing a hotel room with a charming and funny Nick turns unexpectedly complicated. That sounds really good, and I love the fake dating trope, so it's one I'm definitely intrigued by. Here it is, Icebreaker. This is one of my favorite covers of this video. So it is a debut novel, so I'm really excited about that. 17-year-old Mikey James III is a college freshman, a brother to his 5 sisters, and a hockey legend with a father and grandfather who have gone down in NHL history. Mikey's almost guaranteed the league's top draft spot. The only person standing in his way is Jason Clawfield, a contender for the #1 spot, and Mikey's infuriatingly attractive teammate. When the rivalry turns out to be something more, Mickey will have to decide what he really wants and what he's willing to risk. So there is a couple reviews out, and there's 2 of them so far that I've seen is about 4 stars each, so that's really good. I love the cover, and I'm really intrigued by both of these releases, and I'm excited that we're getting more throughout the month. I was able to find 14, like I said, in this one. I have more in February, which makes me nervous because this video is already long enough, and it's going to be long because I haven't even told you about the rest of the releases. February's video is going to be super long. All right, so those are for day 10. And then I have 2 for day 11, and then I will tell you about those after I take another break so my throat doesn't kill me. All right, I'll be right back. On day 11, I was wrong. There isn't 2, there is 3 that I found. So it's Hope Punk, then we have Love Somebody, and the Bone Spindle, which I found out about the Bone Spindle in, I think, November. The cover was released, and I'm really excited for Bone Spindle. But I got Hope Punk's description up so far. So it says, a heartfelt and funny new novel about forgiveness and redemption, and about hope is ultimate act of rebellion, perfect fans for John Green and Becky Abitali. Growing up in a conservative Christian household isn't easy for rock-obsessed Hope Cassidy. She has spent her whole life being told that the devil speaks through Led Zeppelin, but it's even worse for her sister Faith, who feels like she can't be honest about her dating the record shop cashier Mavis. That is until their youngest sister hears words of their sinful utopia and outs Faith to their parents. And now there's nowhere for Faith to go but the change through grace Oh no. Conversion center or running away. Following Faith's disappearance, the family suddenly heartbroken. Hope feels a need to rebel. She gets a tattoo and tries singing through the hurt with her Janis Joplin style voice. Okay, so I am extremely sad about that. I didn't even know that had that. The conversion thing, this one is high up, but I feel like this one will be definitely emotional. And I don't know, kind of makes me nervous, but I will read this. Hopefully we get Faith's point of view as well. I know Hope's probably the main character, but I would be really interested in reading from Faith's point of view. All right, so the next one we have that I need to look up the description is Love Somebody. Isn't that a song, like song lyric, like Love Somebody? No, go back. I just had that. Why do you always do this? This old phone, I'm so glad. I love my new phone because it doesn't pull what this one does. I probably put that in wrong. Yeah, I did. Alright, let's see if my old phone won't be as sensitive. So it is a sparkling YA debut rom-com, which I'm excited that it's a debut, about a popular high school girl, her ex-boyfriend turned best friend, and the girl they both fall for. Perfect fans for Becky Albertari or Casey McQuiston. Sam Dickerson is a charismatic actress, ambitious and popular with her big plans for the future. Ross Shrew is one of the smartest people in school, but she's a loner and prefers to keep it that way. Then there's Christian Powell, the daring of the high school soccer team. He's not the best with communication, which is why he and Sam broke up after dating for 6 months, but he makes up for it for being genuine and effusive and kind, which is why they're still best friends. When Christian falls for Ross on first sight, their first interaction is a disaster. So he enlists Sam's help to get through to her. Sam, with the motivation of her own, agrees to coach Christian from the sidelines on how to soften Ross's notorious wall, or Ross's notorious to get through her walls. But as Ross started to suspect Christian is acting differently, and Sam's starting to realize the complexity of her own feelings, their fragile relationship threatens to fall apart. So it is a love triangle. The cover is really pretty. It sounds really interesting. It would be one that I would absolutely want to get to. And then we have one that I would probably read the most in this video, the Bone Spindle, because I planned on reading that even before I started this video project. Yes, just thank you for bringing that up. So, Sleeping Beauty meets Indiana Jones in this thrilling fairy tale retelling for fans of Sorcery and Thorns, which I have read, and All the Stars and Teeth, which I haven't. So, Fee is a bookish treasure hunter with a knack for ruins and riddles who definitely doesn't believe in true love. Shane is a tough as dirt girl warrior from the north who likes cracking skulls, pretty girls, and doing things her own way. Briar Rose is a prince, now that's funny, is under a sleeping curse who's been waiting for hundreds of years for the kiss that will wake him. Cursed princes are nothing but ancient history to Fee until she pricks her finger on the Bone Spindle while exploring a long-lost ruin. Now she's stuck with the spirit of Briar Rose until she and Shane can break the century-old curse on his kingdom. And I believe this might be a duology or trilogy. I just know this is the first one, and I'm really excited. The cover is one of my favorites that's being released in January. So far it seems that there's only 2, so it could possibly be a duology. Either way, I'm really excited for it. Out of the three, they all sound absolutely amazing, but the Bone Spindle would be the one I would have to get my hands on to read first. All right, that are and they all come out on January 11th. I believe I have a couple more to get through, and yeah, I have a couple more. I'll take another break, and then I believe there's only one release on January 18th, which is perfect because I do need a break, but I will talk to you guys after my little break. Well, I have one release for January 18th, and it is Love and Other Disasters. So it says, the first open 9-bar binary contestant on America's favorite cooking show falls for their clumsy competitor in the delicious romantic comedy debut. Happy that it's a debut. That is both fantastically fun and cracks your heart wide open. So, recently divorced and on the verge of bankruptcy, Delilah Woodson is ready to reinvent herself on the popular, of course that would happen, the popular reality competition show Chef Special. Too bad the first memorable move she makes is falling flat on her face, sending fish tacos. Not quite the fresh start she was hoping for still. She's focused on winning until she meets someone who might want a future with more than she needs the prize money. After announcing their pronouns on national television, London Parker has enough on their mind. Without worrying about the klutzy competitor station in front of them, they're here to prove trolls, including a fellow contestant and their dad, wrong, and falling in love was never part of the plan. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that it's its debut. I'm really, really happy. And the cover is really pretty. It's another illustrated, which most of these, I believe, have been illustrated covers. So illustrated covers are my favorite. So that is it for January 18th. And I believe there might just be only 2 left, and I will get their descriptions and I will read them to you. But I'll let you guys see the cover for this book, and I'll be right back. I have 2 releases for January 25th. So I have The Temperature of Me and You and At the End of Everything. And no, don't do that. I hate that. I had that already. This phone is too sensitive. My old cell phone is very sensitive. I don't know why it has to be so... Yes. Okay, so it says 16-year-old Dylan Highmarker, through his winter was going to be full of boring shifts at the Dairy Queen until he finds himself in love with a boy who is literally too hot to handle. Dylan has always wanted a boyfriend, but the suburbs surrounding Philadelphia do not have a lot in ways of options. Then walks in Jordan, a completely normal and undeniably cute boy who also happens to run at a cool 110 degrees Fahrenheit. When the boys start spending time together, Dylan begins feeling all kinds of ways, and when he spikes a fever for 2 weeks and is coughing flames, he thinks he might be suffering something more than a crush. Jordan forces Dylan to keep symptoms a secret, but as the pressure mounts and Dylan becomes distant with his closest friends and family, he pushes Jordan for answers. Jordan's revelation of why he's like this, where he came from, and who's after him leaves Dylan realizing how much first love is truly out of the world. And if Earth supports life that breathes oxygen, then love can only keep Jordan and Dylan together for so long. So that sounds really interesting. That would be another one I would absolutely want to get my hands on really quickly. And then the last one for our video is At the End of Everything. And I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the cover. So the Hope Juvenile Treatment Center is ironically named. No one has hope for delinquent teenagers who have been exiled here. The world barely acknowledges that they exist. The guards at Hope started acting strange, and one day they don't show up. But when the teams band together to make a break from the facility, they encounter soldiers outside the gates. There's a rapid spreading infectious disease outside, and no one can leave the houses or travel without a permit, which means they're stuck at Hope, and this time no one is watching out for them at all. As supplies quickly dwindles down and a deadly plague tears their ranks, the group has to decide whom among them they can trust and figure out and can survive in a world that never wanted them in the first place. So I know this said it was queer, or that had queer themes, so I doesn't talk about what is queer in that description, but probably a side character. It does sound good. It's probably a thriller. I'm really intrigued on that one as well. So yeah, there's been some really great queer releases in January. So if I've missed any, let me know below. If this has been helpful, definitely let me know. Or if you're checking out any of these releases, I would love to hear which one. I will see you in the next video. That's it for now. Bye.